everybody, it's the Soap Man. I'm going to try a new recipe, or not a new recipe, but a new design tonight. New for me, that is. I'm going to do the column pour. That is where you take a very thin tray soap and you pour it over a column, usually into a slab mold, and it makes a very unique bar of soap. Now what I'm going to do is use 4 different colors. I have the oils cooled down to room temperature, the lye cooled down to room temperature. I'm going to use 4 different colors. I'm going to use, this is Brambleberries Fired Up Fuchsia. This is just titanium dioxide I got from Amazon. This is a mixture of Brambleberries Fizzy Lemonade and green oxide. I was hoping for a lighter green. It's almost all the yellow, just a little bit of green, but the green's very overpowering, but that's alright. And this is just a blue that I got from Amazon too. I believe it's from a company called Slice of the Moon. I'm going to use those 4 colors, and I'm actually going to use one of these as my funnel to pour it over. So my lye is cloudy, because my lye water is cloudy because I have Tussa Silk milk mixed into it. I'm going to pour this into here. I'm just going to mix it to just barely get it emulsified. I'm going to divide it into these 4 containers and put the 4 colors into it, and then pour it out. Now, before I get started, normally you have preferably a silicone slab mold, which I don't have. This is actually a nice sized sturdy, relatively sturdy plastic. You probably can't see it in the video, but I've actually lined it with plastic lining. This is actually a binder. Usually, I got it from work because it was ready to go in the trash. It was a 3-ring binder, you know, 3-hole punch. You put it in a 3-ring binder, and you usually put papers into it. And I thought, you know what? I can cut that down to the size of this and probably use it over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to actually use this as my mold. It is lined all the way around with plastic, even though you probably can't see it. Now let's get started. We're going to make a little bit of noise here. I'm going to pour the cooled lye water into the cooled oils with the Tussa Silk to give it a nice silky feel. We go. Once again, I just want a very, very thin trace to start out with. Actually, I want a thin trace all the way around, but right now I want it just barely emulsified before I divide it off into 4 batches. That's actually good enough right now to start out with. I'm going to stick blend just a little bit more when I put my colors together, but just a very little bit. So right now I'm just going to eyeball it, but try to get 4 evenly distributed amounts. And these are all the same containers, so I'm actually kind of looking at the commercial markings on the side. These are potato salad containers, and actually this is going to work out quite well. I'm not even going to worry about scooping this out. I'm going to leave it just as it is. Now, I have these pretty well evenly distributed, so I'm going to go ahead and put my colors into them. I'm going to go ahead and start with the middle one, do lightest to darkest. Put my titanium dioxide in this one. The first one is going to be the Fired Up Fuchsia. This is a bold color. It's fired up for a reason, I guess they call it. Green goes in the third one. And the blue goes into the last. Now, I don't have a whole lot of time to work. I don't want to talk a lot about this. If you watched my videos before, you know that I have a heavy presence of coconut oil, which means I usually add a heavy super fat. I've done that with the colors. Each of these 4 colors, each color has a tablespoon of grapeseed olive or grapeseed oil to mix the colors up. So that adds a pretty heavy super fat to this, and it makes it a nice nourishing bar of soap. Now I'm just going to take my whisk at first and mix these together. They look nice. I'm real pleased with them so far. That gets them all mixed well together. Now I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to quickly take one of these and clean it out. Bear with me just for a moment. I'm going to get it good and clean. And I'm going to use it as the pouring tool. Okay, I'm going to set this right in my mold here, in the center. Now I'm going to just very lightly stick blend each of these just to barely get it emulsified. I'm going to go lightest to darkest so I don't have to clean in between. That's all I'm going to do. Making sure my finger is off the trigger when I do that so I don't stick blend my finger. Once again, my finger is off the trigger so I don't stick blend my finger. And these are nice thin trays, just the way I want them to be. This is exactly what I'm wanting. Now, I'm just going to have this right in the center. I'm going to pour each one just very slowly over this. Can we see it? Yes, that's great. Try to do it evenly. 4, 5. I'm going to pour the white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to start over, doing this just over and over till I have all of these poured. This is why you want a nice thin trace. You want to let it cool down. My recipe generally works very, very well whether I want a thick trace or a thin trace. If I want a thick trace, I'll soap it pretty hot and stick blend a lot. If I want a thin trace, I'll do like I've done right now. Let it cool down and not do a lot of stick blending. And I'm loving the way this is looking so far. This is brand new to me, never done this. But I am loving it so far. This is going to be my last pass. I'm going to use it all up, or what I can as far as pouring. Shoot, that wasn't supposed to happen. Alright, that is great. I love this so far. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the center. And I'm not going to worry about cleaning it up, or not too much anyway. No, actually not at all. Like it just like it is. I'm going to let all of this saponify the soap, and I'll have a nice batch of soap. I might scoop some of this extra because this is quite a good bit. This is going to make a bar of soap. Where's my spatula? I'm going to go ahead and probably pour this into a plastic container, let it saponify, and use it in a bar of, chop it up, excuse me, sorry, I can't do two things at once. Chop it up and use it in a bar, chop it up and use the pieces in some hot processed soap. I'm really pleased how my recipe is staying nice and thin. And when I want it thick, it gets nice and thick. I really like this. Really like how it works. My recipe, if you've watched my other videos, it's 15 ounces olive oil, 15% coconut oil, 4.8 ounces lye, and 10 ounces of water. But I add a heavy superfat. I do that with the collars. Like I said earlier, the 4 collars, that gives 4 tablespoons extra of oil for a heavy superfat. If I don't do that, I usually just pour directly some olive oil, castor oil, whatever into it to give it a heavier superfat to offset the high content of coconut oil so it's not quite so dry. Now, this looks fantastic like it is. What I want to do is just kind of go from the center and go out. Now normally, I've seen when you do this, you just want to do the top. I'm actually pushing this all the way down because when I cut this, this is a thick bar and I need to get 18 bars out of this. So what I'm going to do is cut it there, 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 and there, and I'll get 9 bars, and I'll turn them on the side and get another 9 bars. So out of this I'm going to get 18 bars, and I'm loving the way this is looking so far. I'm going to go ahead and let me get a little closer on this. I love the way this is looking. Look at that definition. Beautiful vivid colors. I'm loving this. Now I'm going to go ahead and spray this with rubbing alcohol so I don't get soda ash. I'm going to cover it, I'm going to lightly insulate it, put it to bed, and I'll cut it in the morning, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.